The next adventure for Batman begins in Detective Comics number 39 with a cover date of May 1940, and it's called The Horde of the Green Dragon. Our adventure starts out heavy with two prominent millionaires being kidnapped by mysterious men. Their names are Henry Crandall and John Cobb. When Cobb was being nabbed, there were three henchmen and his chauffeur driver witnessed the abduction but didn't live to tell about it, as one of the kidnappers split his skull with a hatchet. The next day, Dick Grayson is reading the article in the paper to a very inquisitive Bruce Wayne. The kidnappers are asking for $100K in ransom. Bruce thinks there is only one type of criminal that uses a hatchet and murders, whatever that means. Dick notices an ad in the paper taken out for Batman. It is in Chinese typeset, and Bruce deduces that it must be his friend in Chinatown named Wong. He helped Batman in the case of the Ruby Idol. Batman tells Robin to stay put, and he goes to meet his friend. He arrives in Chinatown, and Wong explains a new leader and gang have shown up, and they're selling opium to the people of Chinatown. And he has amassed a lot of information about this gang, who call themselves the Green Dragon. Wong says he will have the info on their whereabouts and their leader. Little did either of them notice they were being spied on from a hole in the wall behind a picture frame. Batman gets ready to leave and leaves Robin behind, as this is too dangerous for him, and he thinks the Green Dragons are tied into the kidnapped millionaires case. He arrives at Wong's, but something is wrong. Wong has a blank stare on his face and isn't responding, even when Batman grabs him by the shoulders. Wong slumps forward, and Batman sees that the Green Dragons have gotten to his friend with a hatchet to the back of the head. While Wong was succumbing to his death, he was able to scratch the words Pier 3 onto the desk. That's right near Chinatown. Batman turns to leave and notices a shadow on the ground, and before he can make any advancements, a hatchet is hurled at him, and he ducks just in time to escape the killing blow. Batman swings around, and two dreaded hatchet men come running in to attack. He pulls the rug out from under their feet, and both men go down, hatchets flying up in the air. Batman leaps and mounts one of the men, disarming him from his other weapon, and beats his face in. Suddenly, the other assailant is behind him with a hatchet ready to kill the Batman, but he parries and grabs his arm in the struggle. In their struggle, the force of their momentum takes them towards and out the nearest window. Falling from the slanted roof, the Batman rolls over onto the man and they hit the ground hard, but the other man was under the Batman, absorbing most of the fall. Our hero took a smack to the head and is rendered unconscious. Later, Robin is at Wong's house to check up on Batman. He knows Batman will be mad at him, but the boy Wender doesn't have a good feeling about this. Robin sees Wong is dead from a hatchet wound and realizes Batman was right about the cases being connected. He sees the note scratched into the desk about Pier 3. Against Batman's instructions, Robin goes to Pier 3 since he's already in enough trouble. After Robin leaves, the man in Wong's house that Batman had beaten to a pulp wakes up and says he has to return to the Green Dragon's hideout. Robin arrives at the pier, and the only thing he can think of as a hideout is the large boat anchored at the dock at the end of the pier. But what he doesn't know is one of the hatchet men guards saw him and creeps up behind him and knocks him out with the flat side of the hatchet. He takes him to his leader at their hideout. At the hideout, Robin wakes up in time to meet the leader of the gang and also sees the two millionaires chained up. The leader, who they call the Tong, notices that Robin wears a costume different but similar to the Batman and asks him to tell him who the Batman is and where he resides. Robin says he would never sell out the Batman, and no amount of torture could make him say anything. The Tong finds him stubborn and for his own amusement makes Robin's sword duel with his best swordsman. But this is an unfair duel because Robin's sword is made of wood. The duel starts and the man quickly slices parts of Robin's wooden sword off. Another swing and another piece of Robin's sword is gone. He figures he has one parry left and then he will have no sword to duel with. The last thrust and Robin's sword is done for. Tong laughs and taunts Robin, thinking his death is imminent. But Robin isn't a chump, and in a moment most Bible fans would appreciate. He pulls a metal pellet and sling from his coat, and David and Goliath's this bitch, hitting him right in the forehead. Tong reminds Robin he's not out of the woods yet, but as he threatens the boy Wonder, a familiar shadow dwarfs the wall, and Batman has arrived. He grabs onto one of the sails and leaps across the ship over the heads of the Dragon Gang members, kicking the man guarding the Tong, who runs like a coward at the sight of the bat. Batman drops behind the giant throne that's connected to a giant idol the dragons worship, and where the Tong was seated. The gang rushes towards him. From up high, Batman pushes the giant idol onto 6 of the Dragon members, killing them instantly. which brings the Bat kill count up to 23. After disposing of the men, Batman jumps down to the Tong, still in retreat, and tells him that they have a score to settle, and he uses his face as a punching bag. Now that the Tong is taken care of, he needs to make sure Robin is okay. Robin, however, is having a field day kicking the rest of the gang's asses. Batman muses to himself on what a pupil he has. He frees the millionaires, who explain how they got there. They were chloroformed and taken prisoner, and the Tong told them they would never be found because the police would be looking for white gangsters and would never suspect the Chinese of doing this. Batman agrees, but says they slipped up by killing the chauffeur with a hatchet, because apparently only the Chinese hatchet men would have used this weapon, and once he knew that, it was only a matter of time before he found their hideout, shut down the opium trade, and rescued the two white-ass uptights. The next day, Bruce is out with his fiancée Julie, who no one gives a shit about, and they hear the newsie screaming extra extra about Batman saving the day. And Julie asks Bruce why he can't be that sort of man, kind of like Batman. And I think I speak for all men when I say, "Shut up, Julie." In Chinatown, a woman tells her daughter to say a prayer for Batman because he saved their town from opium use that terrorized the last generation. Dick talks to Bruce and they reflect on Wong's death, but Bruce lets him know that he didn't die in vain. His people are saved, and that's the end of the Green Dragon's reign of terror. Next time on Bat Bits, beware Clayface.